Hey, hey, hey. Hey, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. After a minor technical glitch,
Yeah,
the usual.
definitely. Would be wrong to not have one
Yeah, we may as well get it out the way to begin with and crack on.
for sure. Yeah, I'm also in a weird location today. We were celebrating my father's birthday. He's 74.
Happy
Thank
birthday.
you. And I figured out there is no chance I'm going to make it home on time. So right now I'm broadcasting from a parking lot. Yeah, somewhere in the Mediterranean. I
Nice.
hope nobody comes up to me to ask to buy some beam. Yeah. Uh, cool. So yeah, well, I hope everybody will find the new link and join in because we do have quite a few interesting discussions, announcements, updates, and general topics to discuss. But before everybody does, did you read about this hack in the ZK Sync DEX?
I didn't. I don't think I did. I saw something weird going on there, but I don't think it was a hack. What was it about?
I don't exactly remember like the details, but the point is that they found some issue and a lot of money was drained, and it was audited by Certic or whatever the name of that company is, and now they're kind of going to refund the users or something. So, yeah, so there was like the entire mess with this thing. Yeah, like it's something that I don't know, like in general, all of these audit companies, they're truly trying, they're really trying to do their best to kind of validate the code, but it's very difficult to find like all issues and bugs during the audit. Like in our case, we did a lot of audits, and even after the like best of them, we still found issues. So yeah, like I don't say you shouldn't audit, but the audit is definitely not a replacement for proper testing, and more importantly, having a time to kind of try out a new protocol or a new contract when it's deployed. Like, don't rush to put all your money, in a completely new protocol because there is always a risk of, somebody missing something and kind of just, I like personally, I'm being very careful. I would wait a bit with any new application on any platform, Beam included. So yeah, always be careful with your money.
Definitely. I mean, like in DeFi, it's a lot easier to lose your money than it is to make money, in my opinion. And like, especially after like the market turned kind of bearish, there was a lot of hacks and a lot of bugs found and this kind of stuff. And especially if things are fresher or
Yeah,
like more recently launched, then it makes more
yeah.
sense to tread very
Yeah.
carefully too.
Also this week, I was very annoyed by my favorite host, John Oliver, who was talking about cryptocurrencies in his what's his name? Not the Daily Show, the Daily Show, I think it's called, and. It was so funny because like I saw that he did an episode on cryptocurrencies, so I said, "Oh, cool, that should be interesting." But we basically only talked about FTX and Celsius and all that. And it's like, what does it have to do with cryptocurrencies? It's just like basic centralized fraud. Could have been with sneakers for all I know. Like it doesn't really matter, like what kind of fundamentals you're using to rob people and make bad business decisions and negligence and all that. But it was called cryptocurrency, so it's like, come on, man. I expected more from you.
Yeah, and it's always a little bit funny because it's like funny in some dark humor kind of way, because it's always like saying bad stuff about crypto, but it's like the exact thing that crypto and DeFi and all of this stuff is like aiming to fix, and in many cases fixing, but they've zoomed in on like what's more equivalent to a bank.
Yeah, yeah, it's the same logic like blaming airbags on crashes. Like, oh, you see?
Yeah,
The airbag
Yeah,
went out again. That's the problem. The airbags they go out every time there's a crash, and they're like, yes, that's what they're there for. Like what? Like yeah, but I agree.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So what is going on with Beam? Actually, quite a lot, and we do have some interesting questions that we're going to answer. But let's start first with the announcement, and I will open them here so I don't miss because there are quite a few. Okay. So first of all, the audit for Nephrite is going to be published tomorrow. It's like it was performed by basically by Beam, and we use the same company that we were using before, the Pessimistic IO, and they have been doing a very good job auditing other Beam contracts and components. So that's going to be published tomorrow. And the next big thing that is going to happen is the end of the accumulation period for the BIMBMX pair on the DEX. And this is going to end on Saturday night, according to our calculations at the specific block height. Let me check real quick. I think Amir tweeted the updated numbers, but let me check if I have them here. Yeah. So as of now, there are 387,000 BMX in the accumulator, and obviously twice as many BIM, which is very nice. And according to the calculations, yeah, so it's like in about 2 days, which will be, yeah, Saturday night, the accumulation will end, which is great, yeah, and it means that like once the accumulation phase is completed, we can then launch the DEX. So as of now, the launch of the DEX itself is planned for Thursday, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. DEX will go live. I think it's a very good date. And before that, yeah, so like once the audit for the Nephrite is out, we will kind of deposit the BMX allocation, and like everybody will probably review it. So probably on Monday, we will deposit the BMX for Nephrite stability pool. And last but definitely not least, on Tuesday next week, wow, it's going to be a crazy week. A new website is going to go live, and even like if you didn't see it yet, you should. And it's absolutely beautiful. And yeah, so busy week.
Very, very busy. So just to run through everything, on Saturday, the DEX accumulation phase will
Yeah,
end. Is that right?
absolutely.
And then the DEX is launching May the 4th,
Right.
which is a week today.
Yes.
Wicked. And on Tuesday, new
Yeah.
website. Jam-packed
Oh
week.
yeah.
So we will. I saw someone asking if we can put an announcement out about like the close of the DEX accumulation phase. We will definitely do so. And from the like close of the accumulation phase to the launch of the DEX, will people still be able to like provide liquidity, or they will have to wait until the launch of the
No,
DEX
they
after?
they will have to wait because
Cool.
yeah, the accumulation contract will shut down at the height that was determined when it started. Yeah,
Cool.
and then once the DEX is live, obviously the contract will be transformed into a liquidity mining. I saw some discussions about how to name it. I don't know if it's like I just saw some ideas, but I don't know exactly the status because I was quite busy. Yesterday there was a Independence Day in Israel, and it's very kind of customary on the Independence Day to do barbecues. So everybody's doing barbecues, and this year I was hosting the gang of my friends with like lots of crazy children and all that. So I was away from most of the, civilization and discussions. Yeah, I think I'm still kind of processing some of that meat. It's still somewhere digesting inside of me. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
The old barbies get pretty intense if it's a full day one. Happy Independence Day, by the
yeah,
way.
thank you very much. This country is 75 years old, for good or for bad. Yeah, that's the situation. Um, yeah, in any case, it's like several very important milestones are going to be achieved next week, which is nice. And I'm really happy that we also have a new website to kind of simplify the message. It's really amazing. Like I don't know if right now it's available on beta.beam.mw. It should be, but if it's not, it's probably still undergoing last fixes. But yeah, next week we will launch it live, and yeah, it's going to be very very nice.
It's looking awesome. Like a lot of work gone into it, and also some great discussion going on as to like how best to present it and this kind of thing. Very impressed.
Totally. Um, so one of the things that are being asked a lot is about the status of the mobile wallet and the web wallet. And
Yeah.
they're both the web wallet is currently in testing. I really wanted to submit it already to the Google Chrome Store, but there is one kind of little thing that's missing from the API to make it work well with the dApps, and we're adding it right now. It's something that like because the new wallet, the web wallet works a little bit differently, so like we had to change a few things. And this is like one of the last fixes that we need to make. I hope we will do it over the weekend, and then next week we will submit it to the store. It usually takes a couple of days for Google to review it, and then it will be available to download directly from the store. Um, we can publish the like developer build if you want to play with it on .NET before like the official launch. It's very simple. Its most important function is to be integrated with the dApps that can be accessed through the website. One of the things that I also really kind of want to happen, and I hope that Mr. Magic Potatoes, who is working on this new website, will be able to do something cool with it, is to integrate the WebAssembly of the wallet and some shaders into this website so it can read public information from the blockchain. Like, for example, the balance domains that are accessible, the total value logged in various contracts, etc. And then the website will be not just, information resource and place where you go to download Beam Wallet, but it can also show you live information from the blockchain, which is a super cool, basically making it like sort of a dApp in it of itself. Um, and yeah, so this is kind of will be a big improvement. And also, obviously, we're going to link all of the available dApps like once we have them on the web, so that they're easier to find. Right now, they are like scattered and hidden all over the place. We will bring them all into like this one organized location. So anyone who can like opens the Beam website will be guided to like the entire list of the applications. Speaking of which, there was a good question, not a new question, but a question that was asked many times before and was asked again regarding the kind of centralized nature of the current Beam dApp Store. And it's something that we've been talking about for a while, and we definitely need to improve that. But I would like to just kind of answer the question that was asked and clarify the current situation. So basically, the list of the applications that you see when you open your dApp store in the Beam wallet, desktop wallet, the list is hosted on a server, right? So it's by all means not the ideal solution, but that was the kind of the trade-off that we made back in the day. So you do have additional options to install applications, both by using like local files, like basically just downloading a dApp file and installing it from a local machine, or you can use the decentralized App Store, and then the application is hosted on IPFS. And you can download it directly from the IPFS using the publisher key that you add. So all of these things are incremental kind of, I would say, things that we did and then improved and then added and stuff like that. So we do need to rebuild this entire kind of App Store infrastructure, because right now, as people correctly say, it does expose your IP address because you're accessing an external resource. And it's also less than ideal. Like, for example, you can, let's say, instead of looking for a publisher ID somewhere like on Twitter and then adding it manually, you could just see the list of all of the publisher IDs registered in the App Store contract. And obviously, it would be nice to filter it by only those IDs that have at least one application available, because otherwise, like, anybody can register a publisher and do nothing with it and clutter the list. So yeah, there are a lot of improvements that can and need to be made in this regard. So yes, right now you do expose your, like, you do access a centralized resource. No, it's not a good idea. And going forward, we're going to rebuild this entire module.
Nice. And you mentioned the other way of doing it, like using the decentralized app store, and this is how, correct me if I'm wrong, on the DAppNet, and I also believe on mainnet, this is how Nephrite was distributing the app. Is that right?
Yes, and this is how we need to distribute all of our apps. We're basically going
Yeah.
to get rid
Okay.
of, and I'm talking about like in the next wallet version, like really soon. There is absolutely no reason.
Cool.
Like, yeah, we did it initially. There was like only one DApp available back in the day or two, but now that we have quite a few of them, and we, like, back then we also did not have the decentralized App Store. But now we do, right? So
Yeah.
like, no reason to use.
Yeah. That makes
I
sense.
don't know.
And actually, like you mentioned about it being like good that there's not a list. I always think of this in a similar term when I'm using like dApps on Ethereum or something like this, and like often you Google a dApp and then the first one is some like advertisement or a promoted kind of link, and often I've seen that these promoted ones are like phishing sites and this kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's a well-known fact that when you Google for something, several links that you find are probably not the ones that you want.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I think that this, like, a long time ago, I mentioned in one of the spaces, my girlfriend got phished with like a fake OpenSea link, and I think that this is probably how it happened, like Googling OpenSea and that.
Yeah, it's a problem. Even though supposedly, a couple of days ago, somebody wrote on Telegram, "Hello, I'm an investor. I want to invest in Beam. Here's our investor presentation." And I click on the link and it says phishing site, phishing site. I'm like, I'm sorry, your presentation is a phishing site. And that's it. That was the last I heard from him.
Yeah, the like always. I always like it. It's really unfortunate that it leads to people being skeptical about literally everything and everyone, because that's not so nice.
I agree.
But like,
But
it definitely pays to be.
yeah, yeah, you are a scammer unless proven otherwise. I mean, come on. Yeah, that's the world we're living in right now.
Yeah.
No amount of chat GPTs can save us from that.
No, I mean they're probably. I don't want to give them any ideas, but they're probably going to be starting to use them for communicating with people to try and scam as well.
Oh yeah,
Terrible thought.
come on. Um, yeah. So regarding the rest of the questions, like about the status of the mobile wallet, yeah, it's all in the works. I'm not exactly sure what is left there, but it shouldn't be too much. Uh, Basically, what is currently going on is that the latest wallet library, the 7.3 that we released for desktop, is just being adapted and tested for the mobile. Um, I will get like a more kind of specific update maybe tomorrow in a couple of days. But we are working on that. So yeah, like it takes time, but that's the way thing is. Nothing is neglected anymore, which is good. Like we kind of livened up the entire scope of operations from the mobile to the web. Like everything is being addressed and attended, which is good. And we are very excited because like the ecosystem, the dApps that are actually doing, useful things like trading are finally arriving, and I think it's that's what we wanted, and it's finally here. Couldn't be more excited.
And these like the web wallet and the mobile wallet like improvements, this will bring them up to speed with the desktop and be able to interact with all these dApps and that kind of thing as well.
Yes. So in terms of the web wallet, I think the most important dApps, the like DEX, will definitely be available through web wallet, and also the DAO, the voting, like all of these things will be available. In terms of the mobile wallet, uh, once we do update the kind of the wallet library to the latest version, then we will also need to make some adaptations. I'm sorry, to the layout of the apps, because it's basically the same application, only it should be presented correctly, in the mobile layout and just like it is on the desktop. So that's kind of probably going to take a little bit more time. Right now, it's not possible to test them because the version of the wallet library that is required to access them is not yet ready. So it's a kind of two-step process, right? We update the library first, make sure it works, release the version, and then we can just update the layout of the dApps themselves to look good at the mobile. That's kind of the way it's going to work.
Wicked, and makes sense. Like this is one thing I've always like thought about in terms of like who uses desktop and who uses mobile. And like I do everything on my desktop because that's just how I maybe I'm a like a boomer or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
Uh,
you are.
but I think like yeah, many people do like everything crypto on their phones, which blows my mind. But it makes a lot of sense, and like people are more they're on their phones more, they're there for social media, they're there for banking, so of course they're going to do like crypto on their phones. But I always like it always blows my mind that people do everything on their mobile.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
definitely a
that's the way of the
boomer.
future. Yeah, Vladi does everything in CLI, so he doesn't even need the desktop.
Yeah,
So yeah,
true.
it's very individual. It seems. Yeah, it was funny because like after after the hardware wallet was completed, only then Vladi migrated his like desktop wallet to mainnet one, and then like he actually started using it, because before that he was saying like, oh, it's not safe enough with the hardware wallet. Yeah, like I mean that's the point. By the way, also in the desktop wallet, we still have a lot of things to improve and fix. Like it's not the work is not done like by any stretch of imagination. Like we still have a lot of improvements to do. But first and foremost, we need to launch the DEX and make sure everything is working. Uh, Another big thing that is currently being worked on is obviously the reverse bridges that will allow you to move Beam to Ethereum. And yeah, this is also something that is in the works right now, and I hope that in a couple, I don't know, probably next week, we will have more updates on that. Yeah,
Nice. A question: do we have any info on the like Ethereum to Beam bridge in terms of users and this kind of
I
stuff?
don't have an updated information as of now, no. But
No problem.
yeah, but we can get it. It's probably not too much, but there is something.
Yeah. That's cool. I think like as the stuff gets launched, obviously Nephrite team is looking to launch fairly soon. The DEX on May the 4th be with you. And that gives like at least in my opinion, it would give a lot more reasoning and like incentive for people to bridge over assets from Ethereum. They can put them on the AMM DEX, they can trade it and this kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in terms of like before and after the DEX launch and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
I think that in combination with the new website, some marketing campaign, and kind of the very fact that now you can trade on DEX on Beam, it will give more people, the reason to bridge their assets over and to trade them confidentially, for sure. So that like from now on, it's all about kind of engagement, bringing more users, bringing more liquidity, and that's what we need to do, and obviously constantly, improving what we have and building new stuff. Uh, Speaking of building new things, like once again, I would like to repeat that if you have any idea to kind of create a new application that you want, or if you know about projects that are interested in migrating from other platforms and just building new things on Beam and using the ease of integration that we have and the confidentiality, uh, let us know, and yeah, we will definitely assist in any way we can, and just try to start and grow in the ecosystem as much as possible.
Absolutely. The like it's cool to see the community coming together for the website, and I hope that we see similar with regards to dApps running on Beam and this kind of stuff. We see Beam Assets, they have launched a wicked website not that long ago and looking to improve it and add to it as well, which is really cool. One question I did have, I don't know if you know the answer or if you've spoken to the Nephrite team and maybe they have given you an indication. Uh, as I understand, you mentioned the audit will be coming out early next week, and the Beam X will be like the from Epoch 18 voting. Nephrite will get some Beam X to distribute for people in the stability
Yeah.
pool. Will that kick in as soon as they get the Beam X, or they will launch it at a later date,
No,
later
no,
on? Or...
no. Everything like from the free side, everything that needed to be launched is already launched. Uh,
Okay,
and
cool.
right now, people can deposit into the stability pool, but the reward is like the reward that is allocated to that pool is just not there. Like the moment we Beam DAO like deposit this BMax that we already voted upon, and we're just waiting for the audit to be kind of released and everything, be clear. We have enough running time with the free that we feel confident that everything is working fine. The moment we deposit that BMax amount, it will start farming. So yeah.
Work it. That's cool. That's very exciting. Uh, that makes me think. I know I opened a trove, but I can't remember if I went into the stability pool or not. So I should check on that.
So one of the things that we've done yesterday, like a couple of days, we've prepared this kind of sample or like an example of how to integrate the WebAssembly module into any web page. I think the example uses React, but obviously it can be adapted to any framework. What it means is that you can basically use any website to display information from Beam blockchain by integrating these components. Uh, the example is very fresh, and we're trying to kind of first start with trying to use it on the new Beam website. And like if it's successful, then we will have an example both in React and in a Vue, which is the technology that the new website is written in. So once this example is tested and it's working, we will document it and then provide it as open source repository so that anyone who is building any kind of website and wants to show information from Beam blockchain, whether their own contract or just other contracts, and I'm talking about like obviously Beam assets or like any other integration that somebody wants to do, and it will be very simple by just adapting this example. So that's also a good thing.
That's wicked. We have a question in the community, which I think is definitely over my head. It's from Daniel, and is a like web3.js package.
Yes, with the difference that it does not require any kind of I mean, yeah, it does require to connect to Beam node that supports uh, WebSockets, I guess. Yeah, but like, yeah, basically like Web3.js. Yes, you can integrate a library that just gets information, but it doesn't like access the API. It accesses the actual running node. It can be your node. It can be somebody else's node. Like it's in this regard, yeah. Like if you're running a Ethereum node, you can probably configure. Okay, scratch that. Yes, it's like Web3.js. I was trying to find differences, but like the functionally, it's exactly the same.
It's Web3.js, but cooler.
Yeah, but confidential. Uh,
Yeah.
no, I mean it's not. It can only access public information. It can obviously not access anything that is private to you, nor can it perform any actions on your behalf without you having a wallet with the seed initialized and confirming each operation by yourself.
The Sorry, I'm I'm seeing the laughing faces in the chat. And this is like makes me think of how when the Nephrite launched on DAppNet, and I was so confused about the DApp itself not being able to see my balances, and I can't just hit max or that kind of thing to deposit it.
Yeah, so this is actually something that we've been talking about very recently because, as I said, like we did this DApp wallet separation back in the day in order to avoid situations in which some malicious DApp can suddenly access your balances and know too much about you and then broadcast it somewhere. So we didn't want any of that happening. So we created this complete kind of firewall between the DApp and the wallet. However, now the situation is that there are way more dApps and they require more information to be usable. Like in case, as you said, like Nephrite or DEX, like you want to click max and you want to click, you know, basically to filter which pools you have stake in and which pools you like never touched, things like that. And there are several possible solutions for that. One of them is to create this kind of permission, like kind of more flexible permissions when you can say, yes, I do allow this specific dApp to access this information about my balances in certain assets. Um, so this is like one way to go, and the other way is to just kind of authorize, like basically like trusted app or applications that you know that they come from trusted publishers. They can access kind of more information. Another interesting idea is to transform some parts of the wallet UI into dApps of themselves, like basically changing a little bit the infrastructure to support more direct access to shaders, because all of this information that the wallet gets from the blockchain is actually processed by the application shaders that run inside the wallet. And the tighter the integration is between the wallet and those shaders, the more information you can get and the more usable features you can create. Like the best example that we also talked about a lot is to be able to send to band's address directly from the send screen, right? Like today, when you open the send screen, you need to paste a token or an address, and you cannot use bonds. In order to send to bonds, you need to go to the application store, open the bonds application, and then you can find the bonds name you want to send funds to. So it would be much easier if you could just open the send screen and then type, big Romanov.beam or whatever, or beamcto.beam, I don't remember which I bought, and just send me the money. It would be much nicer, right? But in order for that to happen, something inside the wallet should be able to access this information from the contract. So yeah, this is one of those topics that I said that we need to work on and improve both in desktop and other wallets. Yeah, so like we're definitely not done. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, and like it's definitely like a very at least in my opinion, a very interesting conversation to have with the community, and because there's so many like different sides to it. There's pros and cons, and as with everything, of course.
Yeah, I totally agree. Um, One thing that I believe where we need to make kind of better use of and take advantage of is how easy it is to integrate BIM components into web pages or like web applications. Uh, in general, like we have a lot of integration options. We have a good API. We have a WebAssembly module that can uh, be easily embedded in any web page and then access the data from the blockchain. So the more interesting applications we can find for those integrations to happen, like I think it will increase the engagement. Yeah, so like think about it, like let's say like yeah, Web3.js is is basically does very similar job, but specifically for BIM purposes, we might come with kind of more interesting applications, either Web3 or financial or like whatever. So if you have any ideas in this area, be sure to let us know in the community channel on Twitter or anywhere else. Um, I just remember, like when I said WebAssembly, I remember this. I think it was this week or last week. This crazy problem with the Trust wallet that was generating like very kind of narrow range of seed phrases. Did you read about that?
Ah, I I saw. I don't know if it's related, but I saw the lady that used to work on my Ether wallet and now works for MetaMask, I believe, and she was talking about a bunch of wallets that had been drained in a very like specific way, and this kind of thing. But I don't know if that was related to Trust Wallet or not.
So the problem was that there was like one specific seed generator that used a bad pseudo random generator, because when you generate a random number like a random seed, it's very important to really use the entire range of your kind of theoretical randomization. Otherwise, what happened is that instead of generating random seed from, I don't know, trillions, gazillions, like I don't know how many possibilities. Actually, it was like much smaller number, and it became possible to just brute force all of the seeds that could have been generated by this buggy generator. So what happened is that people used it, and then they took the same seed and they used it in many wallets, which is understandable because once you have a seed, you have it stored somewhere, you remember it or whatever. So you don't necessarily want to generate a new seed. So you just reuse the same seed in many wallets, sometimes even in many blockchains. If it's like Ethereum compatible blockchains, people use the same seed in, I don't know, on Binance Chain, on Ethereum, on several others. And all of these people that used seeds from that bad generator actually became vulnerable to this brute force attack. The
Okay, yeah.
problem was, like when I read this article, the problem was that it always mentioned WebAssembly for some reason, which is complete nonsense because like maybe it is WebAssembly. WebAssembly is just a technology, right? It doesn't have anything to do with the
Yeah,
fact that the generator was buggy. It could have been buggy in any
yeah,
language. And then when we say like there were some questions from the community whether our web wallet has the same problem because it also uses WebAssembly. So the answer is no. It might have other problem, but it doesn't have this one, and definitely not because it uses WebAssembly. There's like
yeah.
nothing to do with that. But in general, this is like, I think the most kind of, it's crazy. Like you don't know, right? You go to a wallet, you create a seed phrase. The users are completely, they cannot be blamed here because it's not like they did something that was, risky or questionable. Not at all. They just were victims of completely, like they had no chance of detecting this ever. Um,
yeah,
yeah, it's really scary. Like, I mean, anyone could have been in this
yeah,
situation. No amount of knowledge or experience in crypto would have saved you if there is just a bad random generator underneath this. Yeah.
yeah. And like I, I always have this feeling or thought, and it's that like for a trustless like system or this kind of thing, there's a lot of trust involved, whether it's like trusting that the random generator used to make your seed is good enough, or whether there's no bugs in the protocol you're going into and this kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of kind of trust for
Not,
for something
yeah,
that's
but not
meant to be
exactly
trusted.
because, so first of all, when you're doing an audit with a serious, auditing company, the
Yeah,
first thing they're looking for is your custom implementations of well-known cryptographic primitives, because
yeah,
there is a good reason why the library that is used in Bitcoin, like many other projects, is the same library, because this library was uh, tested for a long time. It's reliable because it was used a lot, it was tested a lot, um, and it's very important to never try to reinvent the wheel here and try to like just implement things yourself, things that you are not sure about, because cryptography is tricky that way. You never like, it's very difficult to know when you are doing this, one mistake that is going to make this entire thing vulnerable to attacks. Uh,
yeah,
yeah. Now, this is why I say like be careful with new stuff, like for everything. Um, and in this specific case, like I'm not exactly sure whether it was something like custom implemented or there was a bug in something that been used before. But usually these things come around when you're trying to just do things that you should not have been doing, like implementing basic stuff yourself.
yeah. Don't don't roll your own
Don't
cryptography.
mess with cryptography, man. Yeah, it's going to bite you. Yeah, and due to properties of crypto that no one is responsible, it's kind of weird because it's like it is your seed, but it's still not your fund.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, amazing.
absolutely. Do we have? Let me. My computer's gone into sleep mode. Do we have any questions in the community? If we do, feel free, please, to put up your hand or type in the chat. Wow, we have a Gus listener. Welcome, Gus.
Maybe it's your alter ego.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, okay, so unless we have anything else to discuss, it might be a shorter than usual. Oh,
Yeah.
Magic Potato is Gus? How did that happen?
Ah, wow. What an amazing name, I must say.
Wait a
Both
second.
names, Magic
Yeah,
Potato and
so you
Gus.
do have Twitter. He told me that he has Twitter to listen, but he doesn't tweet or retweet anything. It's like this read-only Twitter. Yeah.
Nice.
Uh, Magic Potato deserves a lot of credit for great work on the website. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, like I don't know if you didn't see it, you have to go to beta.beam.mw, take a look. And if not, you will see it on Tuesday because it's absolutely beautiful.
It really is, and a huge effort, and like one of the coolest things that I've seen coming out from the community is Magic Potatoes effort, and also the support and contribution from others giving some suggestions and this kind of stuff. Really love to see it.
Totally. So on this epic note, I think we will wrap it up.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Get back into the party.
No, I think I'll move on to the next one. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. And we will update you on all of the dates and specifics of everything that is going to happen next week, which is a lot. Thank you very much for your support. It's been great, and it's going to get better.
Wicked, absolutely. Thank you so much, Alex. And I will see you back here, same place, same time next week with the DEX either launched or about to launch.
With launched DEX, new website, and a shitload of crazy new stuff. It's going to be epic.
Wicked.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Bye bye.
Thanks, man. See you.
Bye.